People don't want to take drugs for anxiety if they can help it, but non-medical treatments fall into two primary categories. The physical, anaerobic and aerobic exercise are the primary components. They work pretty well, but they don't cover the mental and the psychological dimension. We also need that in order to get really good results. So there's kind of a leveled field of mental techniques. First was psychotherapy, and psychotherapy was terrible. Psychotherapy actually had negative effects because of a particular reason that I'll get into later. The next innovation was cognitive behavioral therapy. This had a much greater success rate. It had 60% of people experienced a moderate amount of lessening of symptoms. Hardly anybody completely overcame anxiety, but they didn't relapse too badly. This was even improved on with the third permutation in the 90s, which is called mindfulness based therapy. And the two were combined together. It got pretty good. We'd get some level of maybe 75% of people experiencing a reduction in anxiety systems with not significant relapses. They still had symptoms. They still had 50% of the symptoms, but a lot of the worst symptoms were overcome. So, cognitive behavioral therapy involves talking to your anxiety and diminishing it by telling it it's wrong, basically, or talking over it by replacing those thoughts. Mindfulness based therapy involves looking directly at the anxiety and watching it dissolve so that you become accustomed to that process and realize that that's normal. But now we're ready for the next level. This builds on mindfulness based therapy and it takes it into a much deeper meditation experience. It's the tantric level of meditation. It borrows a lot of techniques from some of the most ancient forms of Buddhism and some of the most powerful meditations there are. These combine views and techniques such as emptiness, meditating on directly on the mind, how it arises as anxiety, some specific targeted movements, some visualizations, and a few other methodologies. And these dramatically boost the effectiveness. What makes these methods so powerful? We're going to get to that in a minute, but first, should we aim for 100% effectiveness, all people getting rid of their anxiety altogether? No, that's much too low of a bar. My goal is 250, 300% effectiveness. Well, that sounds crazy, I know, but what could it mean? It means that you don't get rid of anxiety, you transmute anxiety. So you go from a negative, say 100 on your scale, past zero, where it's gone, and it turns into your own power. It becomes fuel for you to help yourself and to help the world. The system doesn't just defeat anxiety, it recruits it. So if you think of anxiety as like a wild stallion, we tame it for our own purposes. We're not going to negotiate a peace with our fear. We're transmuting it into a bottomless well of courage.